If your woman can make you lose your cool with one sentence, you aren't a leader. You're a slave. Most men hand over their power to anyone who annoys them, drivers, critics, or a bad news headline. They are puppets on invisible strings. But today, that ends. Your calm is your property. Your mind is your fortress. This is how you become psychologically untouchable. If you're ready to take the keys back, type "My calm is my power" in the comments. Let's get to work. Law 1. Guard the gates of your mind. Your mind is the only thing you truly own. If you lose it to negativity, everything else rots. Most men guard their bank accounts, but let any toxic influence walk right into their head. Stop it. Think of your mind as a high-security garden. Every conversation and headline is a seed. You can't stop the seed from landing, but you must stop it from taking root. Inside the lead protocol, we master the input filter. You stop being a passive recipient of garbage and start being a gatekeeper. If a thought doesn't serve your mission, evict it. The unguarded mind reacts. The guarded mind commands. You have to realize that every piece of gossip, every outrage-driven post, and every self-doubting thought is a weed attempting to choke your potential. A man who does not control his mental inputs is a man who has already surrendered his future. You must be ruthless with what you allow to stay in your headspace. Law 2. The fatal mistake of the rushed answer. A rushed answer is a weak answer. When you speak too fast, you're reacting, not leading. Once words leave your mouth, you can't take them back. They can destroy a marriage or a business deal in seconds. The Stoics practice the art of the pause. Create a gap between the insult and your response. Zeno said it's better to trip with your feet than your tongue. A stumble in your walk heals. A stumble in your speech scars. By pausing, you show the world you aren't moved by their urgency. You move when you decide. In relationships, this is your ultimate leverage. When she expects an explosion and you give her a calm, measured silence followed by a precise response, you maintain the frame. You become the mountain that the storm cannot move. Law 3. Problems are your gym. Stop wishing for an easy life. That's a child's fantasy. A leader sees every problem as resistance training. You don't get strong lifting light weights. You get strong struggling against iron that wants to crush you. Every setback, a financial hit, a betrayal, a fight with your partner, is a practice drill. Inside the lead protocol, we don't ask why me. We ask, what is this training me for? Every delay trains your patience. Every rude person trains your self-control. You aren't a victim, you're a student of the struggle. If the road is always smooth, your character remains soft. You need the friction to sharpen your edge. Embrace the chaos, because it is the only place where a commander is truly forged. Law 4. The premeditation of evils. Expect trouble. You lose your calm because you're shocked by reality. You expect people to be fair. They aren't. You expect the day to go smoothly. It won't. The Stoics used premeditatio malorum, imagining everything going wrong before it happens. This isn't being negative, it's being armored. If you start your day knowing you'll meet selfishness and delays, they don't sting. They're just part of the plan. You've already accounted for the chaos in your mental budget. You aren't surprised, so you aren't shaken. When you walk into a negotiation or a difficult conversation, visualize the worst possible reaction. When it happens, you'll simply nod and execute your strategy while everyone else is panicking. Law of 5. Never give away your peace. Your peace is a treasure, not public property. Why hand it to a stranger who cuts you off in traffic? Most men give away their power far too cheaply. Your woman is in a bad mood, your peace is gone. A client is late, your peace is gone. This is voluntary slavery. Inside the lead protocol, we teach that no one can make you angry without your permission. They can offer you chaos, but you have the right to decline. If you don't accept an insult, it still belongs to the person who threw it. Keep your keys. A man who is easily provoked is easily controlled. If I know what makes you angry, I own you. If you want to be free, you must become unprovocable. Law 6. The 1-year perspective. Measure the problem against the size of your life. Most emergencies are actually minor inconveniences. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year? That argument about the dishes? That snide comment on social media? In 12 months, it will be forgotten. Perspective is a man's ultimate weapon. Zoom out and shrink the problem. What feels like a wall in front of your face is just a pebble on the path. Don't waste level 10 energy on level 1 nonsense. Save your fire for your legacy. A leader doesn't sweat the small stuff because he is too focused on the big stuff. If you find yourself losing sleep over something that won't matter next month, you have lost your way. Law 7. Voluntary discomfort. Calm isn't built in comfort, it's built in the cold. If you only do what's easy, you train your nervous system to panic when things get hard. The Stoics intentionally sought out hardship, sleeping on the floor or eating plain food, so they could ask, "Is this what I was afraid of?" Take the cold shower, wake up before the sun, do the extra set when your lungs are burning. When you choose discomfort, you desensitize yourself to stress. This is a core pillar of the lead protocol. Be a man who is comfortable being uncomfortable. When real catastrophe strikes, you won't flinch because you've been living in the fire by choice. Law 8. Let insults fall into the dirt. An insult is an arrow you don't have to catch. Most men catch every arrow thrown at them and then wonder why they're bleeding. If you stand there and try to catch it, it hurts. If you step aside, it falls harmlessly. Epictetus taught that it's not the event, but your judgment of it that causes pain. Replaying a rude comment in your head is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. If you know who you are, no one can tell you who you aren't. Be so secure that a stranger's words become irrelevant noise. A king does not bark back at every dog that yaps at his heels. Law 9. The circle of control. Worrying about things you can't change is a leak in your power. The weather, the economy, and your ex's opinion are outside your control. Focusing on them is a form of insanity. The Stoic commander divides the world into two: things I control, my thoughts, my effort, my reactions, and things I don't. Inside the lead protocol, we train you to ignore the noise and double down on the signal. When you stop obsessing over the world and start obsessing over your excellence, your anxiety vanishes. Command the inch of ground you stand on. If you can't influence the outcome, give it 0 of your emotional currency. Law 10. Curate your tribe. You are the average of who you spend time with. If your circle is full of men who complain and react emotionally, you will fail. Emotional volatility is contagious. The Stoics associated only with those who improve them. You need to be around men who hold their frame and speak with purpose. This is why the lead protocol exists, to build a brotherhood of men who prioritize logic over feelings. If your friends enjoy drama, they are anchor dragging you down. Cut the line. Surround yourself with men who stay calm in the storm, and you will find it much easier to keep your own center. Law 11. Command the now. Anxiety is living in a future that hasn't happened. Regret is living in a past you can't change. Both are enemies of the commander. True calm exists only in the present. Living in the now means accepting reality exactly as it is, without wishing it were different. It's the ability to look at a mess and say, okay, this is the situation. What is the next right move? You don't lead by looking backward. You lead by commanding the present second. Focus on your breath. Focus on your objective and execute. The past is a ghost and the future is a dream. The now is your only field of battle. Law 12. Memento mori. Remember death. Life is short. You do not have 10,000 years to waste on being angry. You don't have time to hold on to grudges or spend your weekends in a state of stress over something trivial. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Be calm. This awareness isn't morbid. It's clarifying. It strips away the nonsense. When you realize your time is a non-renewable resource, you stop spending it on level 1 drama. You prioritize your integrity and your purpose. Every time you choose anger over calm, you trade a piece of your life for bitterness. It's a loser's trade. The conclusion, your final directive. In a world that screams for your reaction, your silence is your greatest weapon. Calm is not a trait, it's a skill. If you are ready to stop being a hostage to your environment and start being the commander of your own mind, you must train. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens through the daily discipline of the lead protocol. If you've made it this far, You're already ahead of 99% of men who are still being triggered by their phone screens. Don't let this be just another video you watch. Make it a pledge. Stand tall. Stay steady. Honor your life by choosing calm every day. I'll see you in the next one.